let's go directly into what happened to Alexa and Guillaume over the weekend. They were covering one of these pro-Hamas rallies. I don't know how you could call it anything else. And it was the unholy trinity of trans, Antifa, Hamas radicals.
Wow. A lot of mental illness there.
They surrounded Alexa when she was speaking with one of their members who wanted to talk to her.
Yeah.
And a father with a kid in a stroller stole her microphone. And so let's just show what happened to Alexa, and then we'll show what happened to Guillaume, because Guillaume ultimately ended up in the hospital with stitches after this. So let's go into Alexis. You see the stroller? Guy comes back. So the security is moving her. And she's got to have 4 security with her to move through this crowd. Guy comes back with his stroller to swipe at her. Take your kid home, you psycho. What are you doing? Like, the reason we show this is to show just how dangerous it is for Alexa and Guillaume to work. 4 security guards clearly didn't seem like enough there. They're surrounded, and they've got a box around her to move her out of what looked like an escalating situation there when she was starting to get surrounded by, like I said, the unholy allowance of trans crazy people, union crazy people, and Hamas radicals.
No, and that was a good move to get her out of there. I think going forward in Montreal, Sheila, which is the hottest spot for this kind of leftist violence, is to have is to equip Guillaume and Alexa with telephoto lens, because it's kind of like doing wildlife photography at this stage. A couple of other points. The entitlement is outrageous. Yeah, if you want to boo, that's one thing. But can you imagine that you want to demonstrate your disapproval of a media personality or a media outlet by actually using violence, by actually trying to steal their equipment? Who the hell do these people think they are? Secondly, Antifa, as you know, Sheila, contraction between anti and fascist, but they use all the techniques of fascism.
Yeah, it's great marketing. Yeah, they can get away with calling themselves that. Imagine, Rosie Barton suffering the mean tweets. I mean, called a row of Montreal police behind her at the debate, the federal leaders debate. They lined up those police after Ezra went over and asked for a right of reply to the lies that they were broadcasting. And they were lies because CBC had to issue a correction. And he simply asked for a right of reply, kind of asked her if she was eating her feelings, and challenged her to join the Fat Challenge, which Ezra should give us an update on, just for accountability purposes. But she called the cops because somebody talked to her.
Yeah.
And yet, Alexa's got to operate like this. And what do the mainstream media do? They actually help whip up agitation against her and make things a lot more dangerous for her and Guillaume.
And I think, Sheila, when it comes to the independent media, it's not just us in Montreal. When people say this is part of the leftist rhetoric, defund the police, they are defunded. Not officially, but as they say in Alabama, this dog don't hunt, and there was no excuse. There were police on the ground. You couldn't see them. They were off camera. Once they observed that hostile environment, and the line is crossed when you're getting physical, when you're attempting to steal things, that's now a police matter. But where the hell are they? No, they don't want to get involved because either it's a little too hot for them, or they're on team leftist lunatic. They support these people. Antifa, like I said, contraction between anti and fascist. They use censorship. They use violence. They are bullies. They are fascists. They shouldn't call themselves Antifa. They should just call themselves FA. FA for fascists. That's who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like how, the granola people were able to have granola branded a health food. And then you're putting chocolate bars basically in your kids' lunches these days. Like it's just really great marketing. Let's go to one of the worst attacks on our journalists that I've ever seen. And I'm lumping you in the mix here, David, because Guillaume, who's trying to film, he's watching Alexa. Mm-hmm. They grab his backpack, throw him to the ground. He gets sent to the hospital to get stitches after the attack on him. And we talk a lot about what happens to Alexa, but I want to acknowledge that Guillaume has been repeatedly on the receiving end of violence, but his camera's pointed out and not at himself. He was also pepper sprayed at the Freedom Convoy. He's routinely grabbed, assaulted, jostled, and this time it resulted in him at the hospital getting stitches. Let's watch this.
Unbelievable.
This is some of the same footage.
Sheila, as you alluded to, I'm no stranger to physicality out on the field, but I'd like to think at this stage in my life, I've got the kind of thick skin Godzilla has that can repel exocet missiles, so I'll take it in stride. But when I see this garbage happen to my colleagues, I lose it. Not on camera, of course. I wouldn't give our villains the satisfaction of that. When I see what happened to Guillaume there, and the reason why it's kind of a distorted view, it's because he had a 360 camera on a pole out of his backpack.
Thank God he did.
When I see you getting punched in the face by a little soy boy wimp at a women's rally, no doubt, and the females there are running cover for him, I just lose it, Sheila. It just drives me nuts, and it's unacceptable, and it doesn't have to happen. If the police would do their job, this does not have to happen, period.
Right. I mean, I'm so sick of these well-kept government-funded journalists complaining about mean tweets. If that were the worst thing that happened, I get mean tweets every day. They're kind of funny. But our journalists are being assaulted, dragged to the ground, ending up in the hospital in full view of the cops, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. If you want to help our team stay safe in Montreal, please go to standwithalexa.com.